Hello my friends, it's Laura. In honor of Valentine's Day, I thought I would share with you some of my favorite fictional couples. Now this is by no means like a comprehensive list. I know for sure that I left some really good ones out. Most of these I have a bit of distance from, so they're ones that have stuck with me. Some of them are newer. None of these are romance books. These are all fantasy and sci-fi. I feel like couples in fantasy and sci-fi books go through more than couples in romance books, especially contemporary romance books. So you really get to see more of obstacles being thrown in their way. I just love relationships in fantasy settings as opposed to contemporary settings, which is why all of these couples are from fantasy and sci-fi books. So let's just get into it. They're in no particular order. Mick and Susanna from Night of Cake and Puppets. This is actually like a little novella in between the Daughter and Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor, but this is all about Mick and Susanna, and it's about their first date and them finally getting with each other. If you read Daughter and Smoke and Bone, you know that Susanna is the main character's best friend, and the two of them as a couple do play a part in the main series, but this little novella is all about them, and it is the sweetest, most ridiculously cute thing ever. Both of them are artists in their own way. Mick is a musician, Susanna is an artist. And this is kind of this dynamic. I feel like a lot of my favorite couples have this very similar dynamic where the girl is like really tough and bitchy and the boy is like a cinnamon roll. Like, I love that combination. I don't know why. I just really love soft, sweet boys. And Mick is definitely a soft, sweet boy. And Susanna is little but mighty and fierce. She has had a crush on Mick forever, but she finally goes about this ridiculously elaborate scavenger hunt type thing to tell him how she feels, and it's so sweet. I love the two of them together. I love how well they work together. They're just perfect, and they're absolutely adorable, and I had to include them on this list. You can read this if you haven't read the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. It won't spoil anything for you, and it's just a really sweet, fun, quick romance. Another Laini Taylor book. So we have Laszlo and Sarai from the Strange the Dreamer duology. Once again, we have a very sweet cinnamon roll type of character in Laszlo. In this book, we get to meet him as a very young boy, and like, you fall in love with him immediately. You would die for him. He is someone who believes in magic, believes in fairy tales. He's a librarian. He is just like the perfect bookish boyfriend. And Sarai is just like this goddess. She's also, like Laszlo, has lived like this life of seclusion, and so she's a little bit more shy and reserved, which is not usually a dynamic I like. We have two sunshiny, shy characters falling in love, and it's literally the sweetest thing in the world. Their love story is also heartbreaking, but it is so beautiful, and I absolutely adore them as a couple. The way they are able to open up with each other is just so incredibly beautiful, and I love them so much. Next we have Shiala and Serapio from Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have never swooned over a couple as much as I have this couple right here. All I want is to see them together and happy. That's all I want from this series, honestly. They mean so much to me at this point, but Serapio is also kind of like a cinnamon roll, but like a cinnamon roll that won't think twice about killing you if you get in his way. So is that really a cinnamon roll? I don't know, but he's so sweet. But he's been raised and taught from a very young age that he is this vessel of a god. And so he acts accordingly. He mows down anything in his way. And Shiala is pretty much the same. So they're both like incredibly fierce people when they need to be. But the thing about Serapio is that even though he is this fierce, dangerous person, he still lived a very secluded life, and so because of that he's a little bit more shy and reserved when it comes to his relationship with Shiala, which is so incredibly sweet. They each have very unique magic, and I love the way they work together. I love the way they play off of each other and think about each other and are always working towards being together with each other, even though they both have like really important destinies that they need to fulfill. And I just love the two of them together, and all I want is for them to be happy. I'm so nervous about what's gonna happen in the third book whenever that comes out, but hopefully it will end with them being together, because that's all I want. Then we have Safi and Merrick from the Witchland series by Susan Dennard. Safi is the kind of person that will just leap without looking. She runs headfirst into danger. She's incredibly impulsive, and we love that about her. We really do. Even though it gets her in a lot of trouble time and time again. Merrick is the kind of person who's more discerning, but is a little bit too cocky for his own good. Seeing the two of them together, especially when they first meet, they kind of hate each other and butt heads a lot, because she is so headstrong and he will not give any ground, and I just love that dynamic between the two of them. They're both very strong-willed people, but seeing them work together and like find ways to compromise with each other is so incredibly sweet. This is another relationship where like the first time they met, when they shared their first kiss, it was literally swoon-worthy for me. I absolutely adore them, and even though throughout most of the series now they've been kept quite apart, which is absolutely killing me, I cannot wait to see them together again. Next we have Naomi and Jim from the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. These two have been on an incredible journey together, and it was incredible to see where they started out to where they ended up. Jim is extremely righteous person with this hero complex, and Naomi is always trying to drag him back. And Naomi is the kind of person that is like okay with playing the villain if it will ultimately lead to the greater good, if that makes sense. Whereas Jim is always right to a fault, like always has to do the right thing, always has to make sure everyone knows the truth, even when he maybe should keep some things to himself. And the two of them together just balance each other out so incredibly well. The way that their love grows and develops throughout the series is absolutely beautiful. Several times their love story is tragic and bittersweet, but ultimately so beautiful, and I love them. They were honestly my favorite couple from last year, from 2022. Loved them so much. And next we have Vasya and Morosco from the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. This is the first book, The Bear and the Nightingale, but really their relationship more so takes place in the second and definitely the third books. Morosco is basically this immortal god of winter, and Vasya she's a powerful witch, but human all the same. Morosco loving her makes him more human, which is not something he wants. And it's just this interesting dynamic. Their love story is absolutely achingly beautiful. We just don't get enough of it, in my opinion. I feel like it is incredibly slow burn relationship ever. But when they finally do get together, it's absolutely beautiful. Both of them having this sort of grumpy nature paired with Catherine Arden's stunningly beautiful writing makes for one of the best romances I have ever read in my life, honestly. It takes a while to get there, but once we get there, it is everything you could absolutely want. Okay, so I didn't think about this before I was making my list, but the next couple is kind of a spoiler for the Daemabad trilogy. So if you haven't read this yet, I would skip ahead to when I'm no longer holding this book, because I think that knowing the end couple probably gives too much away. So if you haven't read it yet and you do want to read it, just skip ahead. Okay. I'm gonna say the couple. Nahri and Ali. It's so funny because at the beginning of this series, we really don't know who Nahri is gonna end up with, especially after the brief thing with Dara and then her, you know, marrying Ali's brother. So we kind of go through a lot of different circumstances with Nahri, but throughout the entirety of the series, we know how Ali feels about Nahri. He is so in love with her and tries so hard to deny his feelings for her. Ali is another very like self-righteous hero complex, has to follow the law to a T. He's also like the cinnamon roll, and Nahri is the opposite of that. And I love their dynamic so much. They are absolutely perfect for each other. And like the tension, oh my god. Especially, is it in the second book? The tension between them is so hot. And even though like I was really bitter about Dara. I'm really glad that she ended up with Ali. Next we have Zafira and Nazir. Nazir has the reputation of being this deadly assassin prince. He's been called the Prince of Death. As we get further into the story, we realize that this is not who he wants to be. He is forced to be this person by his father, the Sultan, and he's really just this sweet person on the inside who has so much trauma and is dealing with so much pain. Zafira is also known for being this mighty hunter, except no one knows it's her because she has to disguise who she is because she's a woman. And when the two of them meet, they instantly hate each other. They instantly want to kill each other. The journey from that to love is so much fun to watch. Zafira helps Nazir through all of his trauma. She gives him the courage to stand up to his father and to be who he truly wants to be, and it's just so sweet. It really, really is. I adore this couple so, so much. I need to reread this book. And just like the banter between them, so good. So, so good. And then the very last on my list is kind of several couples, but basically everyone in the Atlas 6 with everyone in the Atlas 6. I love the idea of Libby and Nico together. I love the idea of Libby, Parisa, and Tristan together. I love Tristan and Callum together. Basically, I just ship everybody with everybody, and I love everything in here relationship-wise. Libby and Nico, first of all, are just like perfect for each other. The way their magic complements each other and the way their personalities complement each other, they're basically one half of the same whole. You can't have Libby without Nico, you can't have Nico without Libby. Tristan and Callum are probably the most toxic thing ever, and yet, I love them. I love them so, so much. It is ridiculous how well each of these characters fit with the other, and I'm pretty sure that that was intentional on Olivia Blake's part, but I love it all the same. All of these characters have come to mean so, so much to me, and just whatever ends up happening in the third book, I'm happy with any pairing that comes out of this. Oh my goodness, I forgot about Nico and Gideon. Nico and Gideon. I ship that too. Those are my favorite couples, or at least some of my favorite couples. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me know your all-time favorite fictional couples in the comments down below. I would love to know. But that is gonna be it from me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.